Hello friends, my name is Chetan Nathani and today we are going to discuss about D3JS pie chart. Basically this video series will have three parts and at the end of this we will be creating this chart, the one you are looking at your screens. So this chart shows the sales data of three countries, that is USA, India and Canada. So basically this is a dummy data and we have assumed that a company is selling a product across three countries and it has got certain models like model 1, model 2, model 3, model 4 for a product. Let's say a certain model for a product, say television sets, and this data is representing the sales across these three countries. So you can see the red color here is showing data for USA, amber or orange color is showing data for India, and blue color is showing data for Canada. So if in this chart, if you click on this legends, event will be fired and it will turn this arc into dim colored. And if you hover across any legend or any of the arc, you will see a title in the tooltip. And if you hover across any arc, it will come out a little bit. So this is another event associated with this chart. And third and the most important thing is we have a drill down in this chart also. For example, if you want to see which product has got highest sale in US, so you can just click on it and this chart will expand and will show sales of different models. For example, model 1 has 487 units sold in USA, model 2 has 185 units sold in USA, and here you can see model 9 has 96 units sold in USA. And if you click it, it will return back, and if you want to see sales in any other country, you can click it and it will expand. So we will be implementing this chart in three phases. So these three phases will have in different three videos. In video 1 we will be implementing simple pie chart with no events. In video 2, in second phase, we will be implementing these small events. For example, this pop out event and this hover event. These all things we will be implementing in part second. And in part third we'll be implementing this drill down thing. So three videos will be there to complete whole chart. So we will be moving phase wise for this video, or we can say video series. So let's move to phase first. In phase first we will have a chart which we won't have any other thing, which won't have drill down, which won't have event, but it will be a simply pie chart so that we can start with building a pie chart in D3. So friends, two things before starting this video. First thing is that I already have a code and I'll be just copy pasting it from my other source step by step so that I don't confuse you guys. I will not write code, I will just copy paste it, first thing. Second thing is, at the end of the video I'll be sharing the path where I will share my code so that you can just take the code and run it on your machine. One other thing is we have used .NET C# as a server-side technology, but you can use any programming language, any technology as a server-side technology. Because we are not doing anything on the server side, we are just posting our page from server side, which don't have anything. Everything is written on client side. So main significant part here is client side scripts that I'll be sharing on a location which I will let you guys know at the end of the video. So let's start our video. So here you can see I have an empty page which is a home page, and basically in our document.ready function I have called a plot function. In plot function I'll call the function first one to transform my data and second one to build pie chart. So let's get the data first which we are going to show in our pie chart. We'll run this page on client side and let me show you, it will not show anything, it will not do anything. Let me run it. So you see empty page is there right now. So let us first get the data which we are going to show in our pie chart. So here this is my object which I'll show in my pie chart. Typically, you will get this object from server side, but I have declared variable on client side itself because I don't want to get into those complexities, server side complexities. So our aim is to just build pie chart and demonstrate a pie chart. So we'll be sticking to that part only. So here you can see this is a chart data array, and it has got different objects in it. And here you can see for example, first object is for country USA and model number 1, and total sales is of 487 units. Second object is for country USA and model number 2, and total sales is for 185. Similarly, you can see it will go on, and for example, here you can see sales, this object is for sales for India, and model number is model number 1, and total amount is 411. So here you can see there are objects for Canada also. So this is our data. Second thing is we need to take some option values. Option values, I mean to say some settings. For example, which color you want to show as USA, which color you want to show as Canada. So here is my another object for options. For example, this is first it contains certain arrays and objects, and this object contains another set of object inside. For example, caption, for caption, India will have caption as India, Canada will have caption as Canada, USA will have caption as USA. This caption will be shown as a title of legends and title of pie charts. For example, someone may want to keep caption of USA as United States of America. So it depends on person to person and depends on requirement to requirement. So this is our first object. Then second array is of colors. For example, you want to show India in orange color. Someone else may have requirement to show India in different color. So we have kept array here so that it may be easy to change this later on. And third country is x-axis. X-axis is the ordinal scale we are using. If you want to know about ordinal scale, you can see, or in that case, if you want to see basics of D3JS, you can watch my first part of D3JS, that is getting started. So for ordinal scale, we are using x-axis, and that x-axis is country right now. For example, it is Canada. I mean, it may be Canada, India, or USA. And y-axis is our second scale, as per which our arc will be distributed. Area of our arc will be distributed, and that is total. For example, total of this model 4 for Canada is 117. Now, next thing we need is a function which can transform our data into the form we need. For example, the data for country Canada is in 4 different objects. For example, this first object contains data for model number 1. Second object contains data for model number 2, then model number 3, and then model number 4. But in first chart, we are not showing drill down, and we need data for only Canada. So it will be a total will be sum of all these 4 units, all these 4 objects, and country will be Canada. I could have taken data in the form we needed in pie chart, but I didn't taken it in that way, because typically your table will have data in this form only, and later on we will be having a drill down also. So for that purpose we will need model number also. But right now the pie chart we are building in first phase don't have any drill down, so we need a function to transform this data. So I have just copied that function. So this function is doing nothing. This function is looping around the data objects we have, this chart data object, and is summing all the required values and returning a simple array as running data and simple array for colors as running colors. For example, in running data in index number 0 we have data for United States. So in running colors in index number 0 we will have color for USA. So first thing I'll do in my build py function is calling this transform data object. Now I will have to write the code for building a pie chart. So instead of writing this transform data into build pie, I have written it into plot. And because I want to separate code of transforming data and building a pie chart. So this plot function will call two functions separately. So for building a pie chart, you need to take some references, and for if you want to know more about taking references and this basic setup, you can watch my first video, that is D3JS getting started. You can find it, you can go to our channel and you can find that video, and you can uh, get the idea of basic setup. So we'll not go into that, we'll directly go into building a pie chart. So here is my container div which will contain my chart, and it will have an inner container also. Basically this inner container is a container for charts. So here let me write uh, do first thing. So first thing we will do is positioning our chart, and I mean positioning is already defined in our div, the div we have taken, the container we have taken for our chart. So but we have to define that which part, what is the height of chart, and what percentage of div will have chart, and what percentage will be empty space. Like these all things we'll have to define. So here you can see I have defined some variables, and then I have defined my chart variable, which will be our chart object. So I've written d3.select, and the id which will be passed in this my plot function, that will be basically this chart, and then I have selected the inner class inside that chart. So it is nothing, it is simple thing. Then I have declared y variable name and x variable name, that is what is my ordinal scale and what is my scale for r. Then I have defined width and height of my chart. So this is pretty simple syntax, you can easily understand it, it is self-explanatory, and you can play around it. You can change height and width and all these things, and you can easily get into these things. Now I will define my variable for colors, I mean scale for my color, that is ordinal scale for colors, that is which country will have which color. So as you can, as I told you, my this running color has a array. So I'll pass this array in my range, and I have defined my ordinal scale as r color. Now I have my ordinal scale, and I will define my arc through d3.svg.arc function, and I have two radius. First one is inner radius and outer radius. So for example, if you want to build a pie chart, you will have inner radius as 0. So in that case you won't have any inner radius, and if you want to build a donut chart, you will have some inner radius. So here our chart is basically a donut chart, so we will have inner radius and outer radius also. And now I will append svg element into my chart variable. So here it is, and setting width and height of this svg element is this chart variable, and I have just assigned this height and width as a variable. We have taken it height and width variable taken at the top. Now we have our chart object ready, we have our uh, different variables ready. Now I will define a variable pi, which will use pi function of D3JS, and it will depend on the total value which will be bounded to that pi. For example, we have three values: India, USA and Canada, and if USA has a larger value, the area of pi will be larger, and if India will have larger value, area of pi will be larger for India. So here it is, you can see this function will simply return a pi based on this total, d dot total, and this total will depend on the object which is bounded to that particular pi. And now we have our chart defined, we have our pi object defined, so we simply will bind our chart to a data. To that data we have transformed in our plot function. So here you can see we have binded data to arc object of this chart, and this data will return the pi for the data which is binded to particular arc, and pi we have defined here. Now some more variables complete this chart. This is path variable, and just setting some IDs for arc, particular arc, and this is opacity generally. This opacity we'll be using in our next chart. Right now we have a simple chart which we don't have any drill down or any other thing, any function, so it will not be used right now. But in part second and part third, this opacity will also be used. Now let's bind a tooltip with this chart. So you by through this svg.title, you can bind a tooltip for particular data, particular path variable we have taken. And finally, you have to call fill function to fill your chart, your arc, different arc, and finally which will complete your chart. So now we have filled our chart and we have created all necessary objects, so our pie chart should be ready. So let's try and run this chart. So here is our basic pie chart, but you can see here the tooltip is there, but we need to, user will have to go into pie chart and hover into it to look into the value. So we need some legends here. So let's try to build legends also. So first of all, I'll write the code. I'll copy the code for the text we will have beside our legends. So it will just show the country's name. And second thing, I want to have legends also with the same color as the color of the park, the pie which they are representing, color of the arc which they are representing. So here I have just copied and pasted the code for legend. It is simply building the legends, and here you can see I have taken the id of legend as per count. For example, first one will have id of 1, second one will have id of 2, and third will have id of 3. And here I have provided position for legends, like what is their y position and what is their x position. You can set it as per your requirement. And here is cursor style, that is pointer. And here is the rectangle we are creating for legends. And here is the height and width of this rectangle. And here is the text of the legends. And here is the tooltip for the legends. So this is the code for legend, and let's try to refresh our chart. So here you can see we have all the legends also, and here USA is showing in red color, India is in orange color, and Canada is in blue color. And proportion of the area of chart is as per number they are having. For example, if I increase the total for Canada, so let me increase total for Canada. For example, this is 117. I will change this to 1117. So you see, total for Canada is a sum of all these 3-4 objects. So if I increase one value, the sum will automatically increase and proportion of pie chart will be greater. So let me see, let's refresh it, and you can see Canada is proportion is now increased. So it is simply showing data. So friends, this is all about part first, and in part second we will add some events in this chart. For example, this tween out event, pop out event. If we hover our cursor into any of the arc, it will pop out. And if we click on any of the legend, it will pop out. Opacity will change. These all things will put in second part. And in third part we'll also include drill down functionality with this chart. But this is all about the current chart. And we'll be pushing next video very soon, pretty soon. I'm working on it, and it will be in maybe some hours, and or maybe some 1 or 2 days. So friends, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe. You will get regular notification, and we have been frequently putting our videos related to D3JS, Xamarin, and ClickView. And if you like content of our video, please hit on like button. If you have any questions, queries, suggestion, please leave comments on comment section, and we'll try to reply on all the comments. So that's all for now. We'll be pasting this code in the location which will be shared in the description of this video. So please look into the description to get the code of this all things, this pie chart. And as I told you earlier also, server side technology is in significant here. we are only working on client side technology, so you just need to have right references and right client side JavaScript. So that's all for now, and bye and cheers.